What's up YouTube, Mr. LMSC here, and today they just introduced a new patch. This is 0.1.0c for Path of Exile 2, and we are going to dive in, take a look, and see what changes they made. I know they've been getting a lot of feedback from all over the community, so let's see what they did. Patch notes, restart list. That means you just have to restart your client, but the server doesn't have to restart. Campaign bosses killed after the first kill will now drop less currency items, replacing them with other items. Interesting. So they felt like you were getting too much currency from the bosses, I guess, for the refarm. So it's kind of like quest drops in Diablo 2, right? But this is for currency. Increase the drop rate of regal orbs. That is lovely because, again, just any currency increases, I feel like, are really nice. And regal orbs, especially taking magic to rare. There's a lot of cool magic items I have, but I'm like, I only have 3 regal orbs. I don't want to waste them everywhere, you know? So that's really nice. Thank you, Shibby. Significantly increase the drop rate of gem cutter prisms. Okay, I hadn't hit those yet, so don't know, but again, that's good. A single gem cutter prism also improves the quality of a skill gem by 5%. Previously plus 1%. Wow. Interesting. So they really have increased just gem cutter prisms overall. Lowered the drop rate of chaos orbs and distributed it amongst the other more valued currency items like regals and exalteds. It's interesting that they lowered the drop rate of chaos because, and again, obviously, like, anything I look at for just myself of what I've found is not a big enough sample size. But I've only found like 3 or 4 chaos, I think. They are pretty worthless. I don't really care about them at all because they only reroll a single modifier on a rare item. And so if you reroll a rare item that has good mods on it, you don't want to reroll it because you're like, I could just brick the item. And if you reroll it on a trash item, it doesn't do enough to improve it. So I kind of personally prefer the older chaos where it's like true chaos. You get a trash yellow and you just reroll all of it to see if you get something good. Here it's like, I don't know. I don't find as much value really on the chaos orbs. But regals and exalts are premium currency, and alks. Lowered the drop rate of Artificer's orbs and distributed it to lesser jeweler orbs. Interesting. I actually did feel like I was getting a bit too many of these compared to the others. And lesser jeweler orbs are the ones that will add a third socket to any of your skills, right? So if you have 2 sockets on a skill, this will add a third socket. Disenchanting rare items, because I mean, I did not find like any. I found 1 of these in like the entirety of normal, I think, maybe. Yeah. Disenchanting rare items with 6 modifiers now provides 2 regal shards, previously 1. The value displayed will still show as 1 until a later patch. Okay, so that's nice at least. If you get a 6 mod rare, you get 2 regal shards for it. Increase the value of all prefix modifiers that can roll on waystones. We've also adjusted the chances of getting the more commonly powerful modifiers such as increases to rarity and pack size. So these are the maps, essentially, right here. Monster modifiers now grant higher amounts of item rarity and item quantity. This is most common on magic and rare enemies, but also affects unique enemies if applied through various endgame mechanics like the Deadly Evolution Keystone. Okay, I don't know what that is yet. Higher amounts of item rarity, I mean, that's nice. Again, just a little more. Increase the chance for rare monsters and maps to have 3 or 4 modifiers. Rare monsters in map areas are now revealed on the mini-map when there are 200 monsters remaining, previously 50. That's actually good because I was watching some people run around maps and they're like, I just need to find the last rare. Where is the thing? But there were still 50 monsters remaining and a little more and they couldn't find it. So I think that's nice just for saving some time. Fixed a bug where some persistent buff skills such as Raging Spirits and Mana Remnants were not working for the Infernalists when in demon form. Fixed a bug where you could sometimes be unable to interact with the map device. Fixed a bug where monsters Shattered and Blood Circle, Ultimatum, and Counter were not contributing blood. Fixed a bug that could cause the instance to permanently stop time when trying to revive a Chronomancer. I really want to see a video of this one. Fixed a bug where rare monsters cannot be found with the Camaro in the Camaro wetlands. Fixed a bugs where move only was name locking. Fixed 3 instance crashes and a client crash. And these are the fixes that have been pushed out. So overall, I'd say this is a very nice first patch. It's not too crazy. And, gives a good base. Here are some other changes that they're looking at. So this is an announcement that they've made of future things they're changing. Dodge roll. A lot of players have expressed frustration about being trapped in by monsters. While it's intended monsters are able to trap you, we felt the frequency of this was a little too high. I mean, that's literally, basically word for word, my feelings on this. It was, you should be able to get trapped by monsters, but it happened a lot. It happens so much that it's like, We'll be deploying the following changes at patch tomorrow. Player size is now set to 0 units while dodge rolling instead of 1 unit. Some smaller monsters can now be pushed while dodge rolling. This includes monsters such as the Adorned Beetles and Keth. I actually really love these. This results in getting trapped less often. You can still be trapped. A player size of 0 can still not phase through monsters, but it can get through even the smallest gap between them. I think this is a really good compromise, and I'm extremely happy with it. We'll see in practice how it works, but I think this is a good compromise. Number one, yeah, it's really lame when a tiny little monster, I'm like rolling with, I can't push it at all, and I'm like spinning on myself, and it's like, come on. But the second one here, player size being set to 0 instead of 1, I think this is also good. Hopefully this will help with a little bit of just, the hitboxes feel a little bad in the game still sometimes, and I think with the 1 unit size, it's had some weird, ways to try and get out. So now you'll just have it and you'll just whoosh, right through, squeeze right through, but not all of the time, which is perfect. And you won't be able to push bigger monsters and stuff. So very happy. I think that's a great one. 2, a lot of players have been reporting it can be tedious to need to retread areas of maps in order to get back to objectives they already found. We'll be deploying the following change in the patch later this week for checkpoints. Clicking on a checkpoint will allow you to teleport to other checkpoints in the area that are explored. Checkpoints have been added to all entrances and exits of zones to allow for teleportation. A checkpoint has been added to the midpoint of the first Dreadnought area. Again, I think another really good change that will also help with the maps being too big, right? Because if the map is so big and you die super far down the way and you didn't get a checkpoint, you're all the way back. And I guess now you still are, but they added more checkpoints in, or at least this one, and the ones to entrances and exits of zones, and just being able to teleport around to them. I would almost say this helps with the backtracking, because many times I've explored an area really deeply over here and I'm like, wait, I forgot that one tiny circle. I do have a checkpoint next to it, but that means nothing, right? So being able to teleport back there, this should be just a time save, and it makes sense. These maps are so big, they kind of need waypoints within them. So again, great change. Love this. Item changes. One of the major problems players have been experiencing is feeling that the game is not rewarding enough. This is an area we have to be careful when adjusting because it's very hard to reduce drops if we increase them by too much. Truth. So much harder to take away than give. We have identified a few key areas we believe will significantly improve the experience that players are having. Interesting. So they aren't even giving us really what it is. They're just saying we've experienced, unless this is it. Oh, maybe this is it with the rare monster and currency. Rare monsters. We felt rare monsters were not rewarding enough. This didn't affect the campaign as much because there are more unique bosses, increasing the overall amount of drops, but it's especially noticeable when playing in the endgame where unique monsters are less common. In particular, the reward you're getting for the increased difficulty of rares wasn't lining up. The following have been employed. Rarity bonus per rare mod has been doubled. 10% quantity increase per rare mod. Increase the chance of rare monsters inherently having more modifiers as you progress through the endgame. This will cause rare monster rewards to naturally scale up as you get to higher levels because the number of mods a monster can have increases throughout the campaign and into the endgame. In addition, many other forms of map juicing will indirectly cause rare monsters to have even more mods, increasing rewards, etc. The change below. Also note the change below to make sure each map has a minimum number of rares, which will also increase the average number of rare mods as it drops further. That's nice. Rares did feel a little bit underwhelming, so I think slight boosting. And this is one that I think this is extremely important, this highlighted sentence. We have to be very careful when adjusting. And it's true. And when I said it felt like I wasn't getting enough item drops, I didn't want them doubled. I didn't want them quadrupled. I didn't want it Path of Exile 1. I didn't want 50%. I wanted 10, 20% more. You got to like really slowly ease it up and just feel it out a little bit. Currency changes. We felt players were not getting enough of a certain currency early in the early game or to sustain adding mods to maps. We have deployed the following changes. Regal Orb drop rates increased around 40%. Wow. Again, I do think this needed to happen because really they want you to craft gear, but if you're not getting enough currency, you're not crafting anything. So that's great. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job so far from what we've read. Disenchanting of 6 mod rares to give 2 Regal Shards. Yep, lesser jewel drop rate increased around 33%. That's also good because, again, I had literally one of these through normal. I was like, okay. Reduce the drop rate of chaos. This causes currency such as exalted orbs to increase somewhat. That's nice. Gem cutter prisms drop rates increased by 500%. And then the 5 and 1. Wow. So they really just like completely had messed up gem cutter prisms. Map mod changes. Like with rares, we felt players were not rewarded enough for the difficulty that was being added by map mods. We have significantly increased the overall value of all prefix map mods. Rarity mods have been increased by 2.5. Quantity mods have had extra already added to them. We removed the bottom tier of some mods. You're much more likely to roll modifiers that affect drops or pack size rather than the less useful mods. Wow. We've identified some areas not being affected by the increased number of monster packs mod as they should be, so they're going to fix it. Unlucky drop protection. One of the major issues that we have identified are outlier unlucky drops. A single unique boss dropping badly, especially early on, can affect your character. We have deployed the following changes. No more than 50% of a unique monster's drops can be gold. Act bosses and map bosses will drop at least 1 rare always. Wow, that's big. Yeah, I'm just going to get shield drops as a ranger, but I mean, that's a big change. That's almost scary big. I mean, it's not like too scary, but that's like getting to that like, whoo, that's the most I would change. I think this is good. It's pretty, lame when you kill a unique boss and all you get is like some gold. You're like, okay, give me something. But yeah, at least 1 rare. You can actually go farm the campaign bosses and stuff. What I do like about this is the campaign bosses and stuff and the map bosses, they really weren't worth farming that much, They just kind of felt lame to farm because you would just sometimes kill them and get some gold and you're like, all right. And there really wasn't a lot. So this is interesting. This maybe farming them is a little bit better. First, these changes is more significant than it first appears because players can't see the difference between normal and rare gold piles. You'll get more equipment and currency items, which can also take more advantage of the rarity increases that unique monsters provide. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if you're dropping gold, that means you're getting more items as well, if there's less gold drops. So it's good. Click to move bug. We talked about that. Move only knowing name locks. A concern for players in endgame maps is accidentally missing rare monsters. We talked about that, making it 200. Conclusion, we'll be posting patch notes reads when they're deployed. And that was the ones that we just saw. Wow. I mean, bravo. Bravo. That is a fantastic first patch. Again, I really hope that they stick on the side of caution and be very gentle with how they increase the things. But right now it's also, you're not getting a lot when you're playing. And so that is even that much buff is a big change, and gives a little bit more farm and just a little bit more reward. And I think that's really, and even like stuff like the checkpoint change and the dodge roll change, those are like really nice ways to kind of address some of the issues with compromise. So I think they're doing a decent job here with it, and I'm interested to see what happens further. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, YouTube. Peace, everybody.